It's official now. Landorus, the Genie form, has been banned by Smogon. And to many of you people, this may come as a shock, a big surprise, because many people just saw Landorus kind of as a mid-card Pokemon. Not good enough, but when you think about it, with the diverse move pool it has, and the multitude of sets it's capable of running, it kind of just destroys the entire metagame. And it practically has no counters, so the end of the result was that it got banned. It was actually a pretty tough vote. But anyways, my name is Spade, and here are some of my finest moments with good old Landorus. And this is actually going to be a doubleheader, because a couple really quick matches, but speak of the devil, I'm gonna lead with Landorus on this one. He leads with men, so I was like, the worst thing he can do is like outrage right off the bat, so I might as well rock polish then HP Ice. But he switches out into Fortress, then goes into Dustclops, switches into Earth Power, gets absolutely destroyed by the sheer force, life orb boosted stab, Earth Power, and it's a 2-hit KO, and he does go for the Shadow Sneak for a bit of damage, but yeah, easily knock it out. And then he's gonna go into Ninetales and just protect. I don't know if he was hoping to bait me into doing something weird, but I'm in the driver's seat. I'm not forced to predict anything. So go for the Earth Power, knock him out, and then he's gonna go into his Mens, hoping that I wouldn't have the HPIs, but of course I do have it, and easily knock out this Mens. You don't have multi-scale, get out of here. And then he's gonna go in his Volcarona, and at this point, you know, I've already swept half of his team, so I might as well try to sweep the rest if I just can. And he tries to get a bit greedy here with going with the Quiver Dance, but neither the speed or the special defense are going to help him against the power known as Landorus. So knock him out with the second Earth Power, and then he's gonna go in his Fortress. And this is actually interesting, like I didn't obviously see the HP earlier, but he's not running max HP on this Fortress, which he probably should, so I don't really know what's going on. Neither do I know why he went for the Stealth Rocks. Not like it really matters at this point, because his last Pokemon is gonna be the Heracross, which in return can't really do much of anything. So this would have been one of those few obscure situations where the Psychic would have been actually kinda nice, but then again, yeah, the worst thing he can do is apparently Reversal, and I actually conveniently crit him to boost that Reversal, but not like it really matters. Not even the Salakberry is going to help him out in this situation. So that will be the game which you just lost, and we move on to the next one. And as you can see, this is from a bit of an older era, from the Deoxys Defense era. In fact, some of you may remember this Hyper Offense team with good old Deoxys to set up a bunch of hazards and then go town and wreck stuff. And my opponent, in fact, also has a Deoxys, so I was like, come at me, bro, let's see who has the faster Taunter. And yeah, just go from there. We both, surprise, surprise, lead with that Deoxys, and at least the pressure is suggesting, because my pressure activated first, I was thinking I might be faster, so well, then again, it might be just a speed type, but I was like, hey, let's just go for the taunt. But he actually has Magic Coat. Bounces that right back me, so I have successfully crippled myself. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't do anything. Let's go into Gengar, plan B, possibly set up a sub, go from there. There can't be that much he can do to me, but he goes for the freaking Thunder Wave. And like, while I could have tried to predict the Magic Coat, because that was somewhat of a common move on Deoxys, nobody really runs freaking Thunder Wave, or did run at the time. So, wow, completely cripples me on both of the first two turns, and I don't really know what to do. He does set up his rocks, I go for the Shadow Ball, then he switches out into his Politoed, and I'm just gonna keep hammering at this thing. I do have that special Heatran on my team, so if I do get rid of this Politoed, I might be able to change the weather, so I was like, might as well stay and try to get some good damage on this thing, this Politoed, so I can leave him in that nice revengeable range for later on, for something else to knock out, because Gengar at this point is kind of useless, you know, being paralyzed, so I was like, hey, let's just get some damage on this Politoed. and then move on. And yeah, just gonna go into Terrakion. I think this one was my double polish. I mean, double dance set. I guess that's the official term. The unofficial official term with the rock polish and the sword stance. But anyways, just gonna go straight for the attack. Knock him out with that close combat as in comes the Metagross, and I don't really want to stay in because I can't one-shot him and he can one-shot me. Plus there's a chance that he might just have Bullet Punch, so I wouldn't be able to get any damage to him. So I figured I might as well go into Deoxys defense to kind of at least try and wall him. And he goes for the Earthquake, and that does a lot of damage. I'm hoping to live another one, and I do with Lucky 7, so I get off second layer of spikes, but it looks like this thing is choice banded. And I decided to go for spikes over Stealth Rocks because his entire team is grounded, and he does have a couple of Stealth Rock resistances, so in this case it was better just to go for a couple layers of spikes if you just saw the team preview. So knowing that he's banded, I'm gonna go into Landorus and set up that rock polish as he switches out and goes into Deoxys defense as a death fodder. So that was really delicious because I get a free rock polish and I get a kill on this Deoxys, and I don't need to worry about its shenanigans no more as I knock it out with that Modest Nature Sheer Force Life for boosted step Earth Power. Oh yes, and on this one, on this Landorus, this old Landorus, I was running Psychic over HPIs, which is not a good idea, but you know, this is Wi-Fi, so who cares? Although I cared at the time because it would have been definitely better against this Chomp, but I decided to risk it, just go for the Earth Power because I thought I would still have a good chance to knock him out. But turns out, I guess he was predicting me to do something weird, and he goes into his Metagross. I don't really know like what he was really expecting, but well, after the match I actually did some calcs, and I would have actually had a pretty decent chance to knock him out. Unless I would have gotten like absolute min damage, I would have still been able to knock out this Garchomp, but after the second row of spikes damage, no way he's gonna be taking this. Absolutely guaranteed one-hit KO, knock out that Chomp, no questions asked. And now the last Pokemon will be the Jirachi, and of course that thing is gonna get destroyed by the Earth Power. I'm not really sure how much the specially defensive Jirachi would have helped in this situation, not really sure if that was specially defensive. But I'm a Landorus, so I don't care about such things, and that will be the game. And so today, as a question of the day, of course, what are your thoughts on Landorus-I getting banned? And before you're typing down, that's fucking stupid, Mamoswine counters Landorus, before you do that, you know, just think for a second, how does Mamoswine switch into any of the common attacks by Landorus-I? And then you realize it doesn't. And then, because this seems to be the most common, like, opinion that people have, and they say that Mamoswine counters Landorus so well, but it doesn't. And then people, of course, say that, well, of course, I'm not going to switch it into any of those attacks. And at this point, your mind should get blown away as you realize, wait a minute, there actually is a difference between a counter and a check. And that lack of those counters, of course there are checks around, but when there aren't really any counters, any solid counters, that means, and that was the reason that led into the suspect testing of Landorus, and it led into the situation where good old Lando got banned. And if you actually want to hear more about Landorus and stuff, you may want to check out the podcast that me and Chase did yesterday. We talked a bit about Landorus and yelled at it, and Chase yelled and I kinda yelled too, and it was good times. So if you're interested in hearing more stuff about Landorus, check out that podcast. Second part, by the way, coming tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But I'm not gonna ramble anymore, because I kinda did that in the podcast that was posted indeed yesterday. So yeah, check that out if you are interested. But please do leave your thoughts about Landorus, if you do know the difference between a counter and a check. So that will be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and there actually might be more Landorus action coming, because I do still have a few battles with this most recent team that was featured also in this match, in the first one. But anyways, indeed, enough rambling is enough, and I will check you guys next time. Until then, this is TheFlamingSpade, signing out. Peace!